Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Otsego City Council meeting. Tonight is Monday, July 26th. Audra, can you have the record show that all council members are present, along with our assistant city administrator, our city attorney, our city engineer, and our city planner. At this time, I'll ask you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first item of business is our open forum. This is the portion of the meeting where you can come to the podium, state your name and address, and limit comments to 5 minutes or less. Would anyone like to speak at this time? Yep. Right there.
I'm Heidi Gilman. We live on Packard Avenue. My husband is Robert Bob. We're right on the corner, 6939 Packard Avenue, corner of County Road 38, 37, and Packard. So there's some of us neighbors here, and what we're here to just voice our concerns about is we really have a problem with racing down Packard Avenue, like drag racing, high-speed racing, erratical driving, and it started, you know, it's been going on for a long time. It probably started years ago, but it's gotten really out of hand, very extreme. And we have, you know, Packard Avenue is a 1 mile stretch, but it is a neighborhood. We have families. We have a lot more children now than we had before. There's a turnaround of residents. We have people walking dogs. We have people from the new developments that come in and walk. There's no shoulders on the road. There's hills on the road. And when I say racing, I mean excess speeds of at least at 100 miles at some time. Now, I mean, it is like they usually start down at our end or down at the other end. And, you know, they're going side by side. I've seen 4 cars with 2 and 2. So it's a pack of 4, you know, and we yell at them, you know, we ask them to stop. And it's just very concerning for us because we're just afraid somebody's going to get killed or hurt or, you know, it's going to be a problem. Well, it's just unnecessary and it's really rude. But, you know, you don't want someone to get killed or an animal to get killed. So that's what we're here to voice our opinion about. A lot of people call the sheriff, and of course, by the time they come out there, they're gone, you know, but it happens during the day, it happens in the evening. It's just really disheartening. So I'm not sure what we can do about it, and I'm not sure what the city can do about it. We've asked for trying to get the speed limit lowered on that road. It is just a really unsafe road, like I said, with the hills that are on it. When we walk on it, and I walk on it daily with my dogs and stuff, you really do have to watch because there's no shoulders for the cars coming over the hills. But there was an instance where there was a couple that were looking for their dog, and 2 came down, and they actually separated and went around these people that were in the road, you know, because they come over the hill and they can't see them, and they, you know, went around them going those high speeds. So it's really a dangerous situation. So we're just putting it out there, looking for a solution to the problem.
Heidi, so you said it's daytime, evening.
Yeah.
Is there certain days it's happening?
No, it's you know, and you know, it's at least, wouldn't you guys say, at least a couple times a week? At least a couple times a week. Just last night we were out walking and someone came down, and you know, and then they're doing spin. I mean, there's marks all over the road all the time, and it's just, I don't know. I'm sure there's known among people that like to do the drag racing that this is a good road to do it on because it's a mile long, and they spread the word that this is a good road to do it on, but not sure what we can do about it. But
so I actually am looking to Jason in the back corner. So
the mayor before.
Yep, and that's fine. I just was gonna but be prepared that we're gonna ask you to kind of come up and give some suggestions also.
another thing is besides the drag racing, it seems like the road is used as a cut through. And so if people are trying to get, like, let's say, one of the roads is busy and they want to cut across. And it's the same thing. I mean, they round the corner and they are pedal to the metal, it's high speed down the road. And like I said, it is a residential road. So I don't know why people think that this is a road to just, travel at such a high speed. So we get a lot of that too.
I know when we redid Packard Avenue, we were hoping that that would then get people off of your road and it was just gonna be the neighbors
Yeah.
that live down it.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
disheartening to hear.
yeah. So,
Tom, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you've seen any of the colors or makes of vehicles. going
well,
down
I've
the road.
taken a couple of pictures.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
But I'm kind of afraid to tell you the truth, because like, I went out and took a lot of times I'm in my yard doing yard work or something. And one time I was gonna go out and talk to them, and it's like, there's just so many situations of unstable people in the
Yes,
world. It
yes,
seems
I
like
know.
that. I'm a
Yes.
little afraid to now,
Yes.
of retaliation or, I mean, there's just a lot that goes on now. So it makes you a little bit uncomfortable to do that. But I have
Well,
taken a
and,
couple.
and I believe Sergeant Altman can speak to this, but as far as when you call in or talk to him, as far as confidentiality.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's more like, I don't want them to come back and target our house or my
Yes.
animals or something
Mhm.
like that, especially, I mean, anybody that's doing this obviously is not very respectful of other people's property and that. So that's why I'm a
Or of our
little,
community.
yeah, that's why
Mhm.
I'm a little apprehensive to really just, because sometimes they do start right down in front of our house down on the corner there. I've seen them start. So by the time they get down, halfway down where some of the other neighbors that are here are, they're going very, very fast. So I think sometimes they've even had, where they have another car parked down in the end as kind of a lookout in case the police come or something, so they can talk, call them and they check out right away. Seen that a couple times. So
So it sounds like there's a group.
I
It's
think so.
it's an organized group. It's not
Yeah,
just.
and it's a lot. But there also is the issue of it being a cut across and high speed cut across too. So it's kind of two different things, but
Mhm.
it's all happening on the road. And
Sure.
it should just be a residential road. So
So Kevin is here this evening and I did speak with him and I know that a few of you were in to talk with our city administrator last week, it sounds like. So Kevin and Ron, if you both have some comments also to pass on to the neighborhood, but then also we'll have Jason come up and you can go first, Ron.
Yeah, so whoever called in out of your group, I'm not sure the name, but let us know that you were coming in to discuss speeds on your street. And the speed limit used to be a statute 55 in the state of Minnesota, and now you can do a study, engineering study, look at what would be the best speed for that road. And we've looked at the numbers here. The peak volume isn't that great. It's about 100 cars in an hour, which is one car every 40 minutes during that peak hour. But the speeds seem to be around that 55 or 52 statute. But the 85th percentile, I think we can bring the speed limit down for you on that road from 55. We didn't post the speed limit because we didn't want people to assume they can go 55 legally, even though that's the state statute, hoping that they would maybe settle in somewhere less than that. And they have. It's about 52, but we can see if we can't put a speed limit that's less than 55, probably 40 to 45, something in that range. We're going to have to talk to the sheriff department, see what they're comfortable with, what the numbers show us. We've got kind of old data. It's 2014, 15, 16 data. We'd like to get some new data out there. And you're right, we do have some speeds when we did take these back in 14, 15, 115, 110, 111. So the max speeds, and that's just the one max speed. There might be several just below that max speed too that isn't recorded on here. I mean, it's
Okay.
recorded as one of the speeds, but it's we don't, unless we go through the numbers, every single one. it just gives us on the
Mhm.
summary sheet, the max speed for that maximum vehicle.
Yeah, and as you get down the road, I mean, I just personally, like when we were out walking the other night, there's some kids that are on their bikes and stuff, and then there was their dog came out to run out to meet our dogs, and I personally put my hand up to stop a motorcycle that was coming down because I could just see that this was gonna be an accident. And there's a hill there. I mean, it's really scary with what's going on there. So we would appreciate any
Yep.
help that could help us.
So staff will be out, as Ron said, to start, and that would be Kevin would get the data for us so that we can start this process. Because the state has opened it up that we can lower the speed limits, but we have to
I
Gonna
think the
do some certain
residents on our
steps.
road, we all drive pretty mellow on our road, so I think the faster speeds are not the residents on our road. So, did you guys want to? Okay. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Scott Reimer, 6841 Packard Avenue. I'm about approximately 1,000 feet from the intersection of 38 and Packard. And Heidi's being a little modest. I feel for them because people want to turn off of 38 and accelerate. They want to test their engines and accelerate as high speed as they can to see how fast they, even if it is 55, they want to see how fast they can get to 55 coming down that road once you turn. She's right about the using it as a bypass. I've noticed when Elk River has huge traffic issues, such that 101 is backed up to 38. And if it's beyond 38, guess what road gets used next to bypass Packard Avenue? So, well, it's not all the time. When it does happen, this last Friday night, I don't know if the machine would have counted, but while I was filling my tractor tank for watering trees, I could count easily 3 to 4 cars per minute on a Friday night coming from south to north. And I'm assuming that's to get around traffic issues. The drag racing has definitely picked up this year. I just called, what night was that, Saturday? Yeah, just, you were walking when I called. On a Camaro, right? I didn't know it was a Camaro. And the officers came out as nicely as they could, 2 of them actually, but it's many, many, many minutes after the event has occurred. I do want to just get past the numbers, get past the people here, not Nick and Gabe aren't here, Andy and Ann and Roger aren't here. When I came to this neighborhood in 1996, one of the first things on my realtor's list of what I wanted was a peaceful country road. We turned on that road and the first thing I saw was a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit. Check that box. That's good. The people that are here now, or most of them are into their grandchildren age. They wanted to provide a property, a lifestyle that would give them till as long as they could manage their property, give them that kind of lifestyle. I wanted that kind of lifestyle. That's pretty much gone. We don't have a safe road. And I know the numbers might say 40, is the number we should put on there. I feel like I've been baited and switched. I bought a house on a 30-mile-per-hour road. I bought where that new development is, I pheasant hunted. My lifestyle's been changed. I put 25 years into developing a field. I planted over 800 trees to develop a piece of property that I want to live the rest of my life on. Get past the property values, get past the tax assessments, get past all of that. put some consideration into what's the lifestyle these people built and developed over the last 30, 40 years, 50 years maybe. Try to give them what they bargained for. So I hope you can look past just numbers, just dollar signs, property values. This is probably the last major piece myself and a lot of my neighbors are going to have, property, put our life and soul into. Thousands and thousands of dollars into property improvement. So we could have something for either our kids or our grandchildren. And I don't want to expose as anybody's age, but maybe great grandchildren to come and visit. So get past, please, get past the numbers. Give us our road back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Hi, I'm Judy Baker, and I'm here with my husband Rance Baker, and we live at 6447 Packard Avenue Northeast. We've been out there for 31 years, and I just agree with everything that's being said. Our whole world has been turned upside down with this craziness, but I also wanted to add that the number of trucks that come down our road as a quick whatever to all this development. I mean, our road is so, I mean, it's not going to last us another 10 years because it's already cracked up. I mean, the city takes care of it, but it's still erupting. And the trucks, when they come down these our road, they're coming at a pretty darn good fast speed down these roads. And there's been many a times, you know, that I've stopped, I've yelled at them, stopped, and all they do is turn around and give me the finger. So totally disrespect. And again, the wear and tear on our road. And the other thing that I wanted to say, it's just not cars. And I don't know if anyone's noticed it, but I'm also outside my garden a lot. Some of these kids that come on these motorcycles, they are doing tricks on their handlebars going down. I mean, zipping down our road, and they've got someone else driving a motorcycle, video camming what's happening. And it's like someone is going to get killed on that road because that road is just looked like they said as a racetrack, just a 1 mile racetrack. So thank you. I just wanted to just add that to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Jason, can you come up?
All right, interesting thing about this road, it's exactly 1 mile stretch from 38 down to 60th Street. One of the issues that we face with this road is car enthusiasts will actually use this because it's a perfectly 1 mile stretch. This works out for their timing and some of the apps that they can put in their phone, so they can do, how quick can I do this from 38 down to 60th Street? So I would agree with kind of what Scott was saying, where we may have a whole bunch of numbers. However, we're probably looking at the 5% of the numbers that are really the ones that are causing the issue. The overall speed certainly isn't going to be great. However, the very top percentage of the fastest cars, 100, yeah, they're going to be over 100 miles an hour. There's plenty of times where I've heard it myself, where you can hear the engines roaring down Packard Avenue, and of course, by the time you get turned around and over to where you want to intercept them, they're gone. I would also agree that there's almost always new tire marks where people they're doing burnouts, trying to do a donut down at 60th Street. And the reason they choose this road is it basically is a perfect cut across for people that are coming from Elk River over to Albertville. They'll take that road because it's pretty much the exact same distance if they were to take County Road 38 or County Road 137. It's a perfect little cut across that's deserted for them, as they would say, to be able to fly down the road. Test it out. It's a perfectly straight road. The sight lines are good for the car, so to speak, in their eyes, and hence that's why they choose. I would also agree. Just about every single time I go down that road myself, somebody's out walking the dog, somebody's out having a walk, trying to enjoy the nice weather, and somebody's almost always walking down that road. So one of the things I'd like to do is I'll probably take the entire group and probably go down to the fireside room here and
That's what I
we'll have
was
a
gonna say.
conversation about it,
Yep.
as long as you guys don't need me for consent agenda.
Yep.
But we'll go have a conversation about that and see what we can come up with.
Sure.
I'll handle the matter personally. I think they basically brought up enough points where it's like, okay, we need to take it to another next level beyond just responding to the after the fact.
To the calls after the
to the
fact.
calls after the fact.
Yes.
So that, kind of like I explained, I've been in a position myself where I know they're speeding when I'm in my squad car, and by the time I even get turned around, they're gone. And I'm trying to play the game of trying to get my Ford Explorer. Now it seems kind of like a contradiction where now all of a sudden I have to take my 6,000-pound Ford Explorer and try to drive at 115 miles an hour to go catch up to somebody that was driving 110 miles an hour.
Mhm.
So it's kind of turns this weird catch-22 double-edged sword thing. So we'll go brainstorm it here and see what I can come up with. Like I said, I'll handle it personally so we can see what we can do. And if it turns into we need to catch a few people to get the word spread around that we're not going to tolerate it, then we'll do that.
Please then, after you talk with them, hopefully our meeting isn't done, but I think we'd all like an update. And if you are still up there talking to them, if you could send us an email with what your plans are to the full council, we'd
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
If I can meet up with you guys, we're just the fireside room down to the right here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
All right, we still are under the open forum portion of the meeting. Does anyone else have any comments that they would like to make to the council? All right, we will close the open forum and we will move on to consider our agenda for approval. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add or delete at this time? Yes. All right, is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Brittany, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next item is our consent agenda. A motion would be in order. It's Brittany. There's-
second.
All right, motion by Brittany, seconded by Jeff. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Our next item under 4.1 is the North Water. I'll turn this over to our city planner.
Thank you, Mayor. Tamarack Development is presenting this preliminary plat for the 48 acres that are comprised of 3 outlots on the south end of Martin Farms, north of 70th Street. So the applications include a preliminary plat for 97 single-family lots, planned unit development, conditional use permit related to the lot requirements and averaging for the wetland buffers within the development, and then also vacation of existing drainage and utility easements over the 3 outlots that would be affected once the final plat is presented. As I said, the property is located north of 70th Street, County Road 38, and east of McIver Avenue. The comprehensive plan guides this property for medium to high density residential uses, but the multiple family housing study that was completed by the city last year directed that the city change the comprehensive plan and zoning for the site to allow for single family development consistent with the existing development to the north and east as part of Martin Farms and the existing development in the other subdivisions to the south and west across the 2 major roadways. So you have the existing Martin Farms neighborhood to the north, as well as Heritage Point and Remington Coves to the south. And that's also Remington Coves to the west. The current zoning on the property is R6 district. The city changed its approach to zoning for these single family neighborhoods, allowing them by R5 zoning district instead. The only net effect is that townhouses would not be allowed use within the subdivision with this zoning change. It's basically consistent with the approach taken, like I said, with other developments. These 3 parcels were originally included as part of the Martin Farms development. That project, when it was presented in 2003, included over 900 homes, single-family townhouses, as well as senior multiple family on the west side of McIver Avenue. This property, relative to the proposed townhomes, was zoned to R6 district. It was planned at 185 row townhomes. Those obviously did not happen as a result of the recession. And then with the development of Martin Farms and then also Zimmer Farms, Heritage Point to the south, There was trunk sewer put through the center of this project that basically overlays the alignment of north-south Marlowe Avenue through the property. So that's the vacation of the easements that's required. As I said, there's 97 single-family lots within the development. They're all 65 feet wide and with an average area of 10,600 square feet. They're very similar to the same lots to the north that Lennar developed as part of the last phases of Martin Farms and have the same setback requirements. Access is predetermined to this site based on the original layout for Martin Farms. So the full intersection at Marlowe Avenue and 70th Street, and then also to McIver Avenue to the west side of the development. There are connection points into the existing sections of Martin Farms. We expect that there isn't going to be a lot of traffic going from this neighborhood into Martin Farms. It's going to be the other way, that this will help disperse some of the traffic from Martin Farms off Martin Farms Avenue or some of the entry points onto McIver. Developer will be required to construct turn lanes on 70th Street at Marlowe as part of their project and the additional access that's provided. Streets within the development, again, city standard specifications, 60-foot wide right-of-way, 28-foot wide street with a sidewalk on one side aligned with the existing sidewalks in Martin Farms to provide connections. And then they provided their engineering documents regarding grading and stormwater management. You can see the existing wetlands that are mostly along the north portion of the site, but also some along 70th Street incorporated with the stormwater basins around them. Those all be platted in outlots deeded to the city. The advantage of that, especially west of Marlowe Avenue along the north section there, is the separation it creates from the existing homes in Martin Farms to the proposed homes. It's roughly about 100-foot distance over that area. So it's substantially more than it would have been if those stormwater basins or wetlands weren't there. Utilities, all the lots will be served by sanitary sewer and water utilities within the West Sewer District. Easements are platted at the perimeter of each of the single-family lots and over utility corridors or any stormwater facilities outside of the platted outlots. And then with the city having parks at Beaudry Meadows and Zimmer Farm to the south and Prairie View Elementary to the north, that provides the neighborhood park service areas for this development. So park dedication would be a cash fee in lieu of land. The developer, in advance of the public hearing, hosted a neighborhood meeting here at Prairie Center. The notice for that was sent to all the properties that received the public hearing notice, 350 feet. There were approximately 20 people here with questions about the development, a lot of them with concerns about the change in zoning and what that would mean for the allowed uses. But obviously they were reassured once it was explained that it takes townhouses off the table for the development and that the character of what is proposed is very similar to what exists today in Martin Farms. So by the time we had the public hearing at the Planning Commission on July 19th, there was only the one resident that came with concerns about the new homes backing up to her existing property. And she is one of the people that benefits the most from the location of those wetlands. Also, the change that the city made to the wetland buffer in that section of Martin Farms, she has greater ability to plant trees on her side of the pond to create natural screening to benefit her situation as well. There were no other concerns by the Planning Commission at the public hearing, so it was closed and they voted 6-0 to recommend approval. City staff drafted the ordinance amending the zoning map, changing it to R5 district, and then included findings as part of your packet for approval of the PUD CUP and preliminary plat, as well as resolution 2021-55 vacating the existing drainage and utility easements.
Thank you. Does the developer wish to comment?
Hello again.
Hello.
You'll be seeing a lot of me. My name is Dan Willenbrang, 400 Tanglewood Lane, Marina on St. Croix. I'm a partner in Tamarack Development. We're excited to build the fourth neighborhood in Otsego in the past couple years. We have online also Deb Ridgway, who is with Horton Homes. If you have any questions, they will be the builder of this development. We look forward to hopefully getting your approval tonight and starting construction and hopefully have phase one. Once we get final plat approval, we hope to come back in September for that and our paving completed by the end of the year. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer
Just
them.
just to clarify, you said Orton Homes? Deb is with. Or-
Horton Homes.
Okay.
yes.
DR Horton.
DR Horton.
DR, okay.
DR Horton.
Okay.
Uh,
That's something new.
And
I
Deb
thought it was some,
Ridgway
okay.
was at the planning commission.
yes. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Madam
Counselor,
Mayor?
yes.
I do have a question here,
Yes.
and whether Dan or Dan
Mhm.
want to take a stab at this. So I'm just curious because I know I'm in Martin Farms
Okay.
myself. And so there's obviously the exits to get into the neighborhood. Is it still going to be off of MacGyver there and then 70th? And then obviously Marlowe. And then I think what 72nd that is, if I can read
Yep.
that right? Are
That is-
those all?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. Excellent, thank you.
Any other questions for staff or for developer? Tom?
Madam Mayor, this is a question for our Dan. Sorry, Dan.
That's all right. I hope to become your Dan.
I don't know how you're gonna make the record clear on this.
City planner.
City planner, Dan.
There you go.
Anyhow, this original development, Dan, as you had mentioned, was 927 homes is what was planned for this. And kind of now that we're coming to the final phase of this whole development, it's gonna be approximately, what, 600,
It'll be less than 600.
less than 600.
Any other questions or comments?
I do have one more comment. We
Yes.
do agree with the conditions of approval from the planning commission
What about the planner?
and the planner. Especially the
Yeah.
planner, Dan.
I did receive a few calls from that area and I did, explain to them that there was 185. That was, that's the number that would have been in that area, now down to 97. So I think that helps put them at ease and maybe they didn't attend your meeting. Obviously, change is hard sometimes too. But. All right, any other questions or comments? Tom?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2021-14, amending the zoning map, approve a preliminary plat and PUD CUP for North Water subject to conditions stated on the findings of fact and decisions as presented, and adopt resolution 2021-55, vacating existing drainage and utility easements.
A second.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion
very much.
passes. Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a
Dan.
good evening.
All right, we will move on to city council reports and updates. Does anyone have anything? I do not. And we will move on to our commission. Oh,
Madam
yes,
Mayor.
Tom.
I did have one question.
Mhm.
And I don't know if Ron or Dan or whoever can answer this, but like on my GPS, when I'm going down Odine, it says the speed limit's 55. Obviously, the posted speed limit is 45. So I'm just wondering how that gets updated because my GPS gets updated constantly. So I don't know if we have to send them something to, whether it's TomTom or.
I don't know how they determine that, if that's when they do their Google cars through and they see the speed limits and then they put the post that as the posted speed limit on your GPS. I think that might be how they do it. We definitely don't send anything to any of these GPS companies that put that data out.
It might be something that we want to look at because, a lot of people are now looking at their screen to sit there and see what the speed limit is because you only have one sign posted and you might have missed it. And so when you're going down Odine, it's saying 55 when it's 45.
Are you looking at Google Maps?
My car has, I think it's TomTom that's on it, which.
So it's your
updates.
internal?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't always update when they should, just so
Yeah.
you know. With,
It
if anything on a vehicle itself, They don't always, and sometimes, I mean, you'll have an update, but it always takes longer, unfortunately, on a vehicle than like on a Google Maps. Obviously, that's satellite, so.
Yeah, and so that's
yeah.
my kind of question, is
Right.
how do they derive the data to sit there and say it's either 55 or it's 45,
Yeah.
like when you change? Is that
question.
something that
You'll
we have-
sometimes see those cars that drive through and it's got the little,
Yeah.
I don't
Google-
know how,
Google,
I think that's Google. I think that's Google.
Yeah.
Yes. I know you can go on there and submit like a missing review it. Update the
Is that something you can look at, and if it is,
update it for
update,
Odine.
yeah.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I'm sure the police officer would say, your phone isn't correct, sir.
It's
sign
not-
it.
it's not my phone, it's just my nap system
It's
in the
not a legal
car.
defense, Tom.
Yeah.
Coming from the
Nice
attorney.
try, nice try.
I was going to say, I think a lot of, maybe some of, maybe not a lot, but several of these roads might not have. Be the
Yeah,
near
well,
car.
especially in obviously Odine, we just changed what,
Right.
Sure.
Years
ago.
ago, yeah.
Mhm.
so it's not a legal defense. Our
He,
phone
he wants us in the minutes. He
55.
must have.
Yeah.
He's like,
Did you get that in there?
Tom, did you get a ticket?
yeah, did you get a ticket on Odine?
In that case, you'd have a right to remain silent.
Make sure you also have the ability.
Good thing Dave's here.
Yeah. All right, we'll do commission updates. Brittany, Heritage Preservation.
I do not have any updates at this time.
Okay. Next is Park and Rec, which would be me. Our meeting was canceled this past month just due to lack of items. Next would be Planning Commission, Tom.
Northwater, which we just got done with, and then Bank Corps. They were planning to do a future land use amendment, and it was denied at the Planning Commission 6-0.
Next is Public Safety, Tina.
Public safety, we haven't had a meeting. Our next one is the August 10th, so next month.
We will move on to staff reports and updates. We'll start with Audra. Okay. Sabrina.
No updates.
All right. Dave,
Nothing to report, Mayor. Thank you.
what? Ron.
Casat 39 should be open this week,
Yay.
finally.
Wait, where are you
It-
getting your
Actually,
information
well,
from?
Wright County sent, they put it on their bulletin last week.
I think all I have is the stripe, the inlay striping it.
Mhm.
So hopefully the weather has been good, so hopefully that gets completed and open this week, like they said.
Depending on who you're talking to, yeah.
Heritage
It's Monday.
Hills, that'll start up the first week of August, along with the trails, start up the first week of August. And then Water Tower number 4, an update on that. They're getting close to being done with the concrete pedestal portion of it. And then they'll start on the metal tank work. Metal tank work actually happens on the ground. They build it on the ground and then they hoist it into place. That'll probably be around the first week of October or so. It's a 4 or 5 hour ordeal where they raise that tank into place and then secure it. So interesting deal when that happens, but
Yeah.
other than that, that's everything I have.
You mentioned trails and I see the resident who is here that lives over by Kittredge, I believe, that is very interested in when our trails are going to be built. What will be the order in which that's going to go? Do we have that nailed down? So
Yeah, his
that's
plan is to do the grading of the 70th Street Trail first
okay.
and then get everything lined up for the pavement. And then, of course, the pavers do everything at once. They've got all 3 trails to do some pavement work on. And then at the end of that, then the concrete. Final piece is the concrete because we don't want the concrete to see all those trucks drive over it.
Yep.
And that would put marks from the fresh pavement into the new concrete. And one of the ideas is to have the concrete white for difference in color from the red truncated domes, the ADA requirement. And so that has to go in last. And there's usually about another, the concrete has to cure, so there's a few days of that before and putting the edge of the trails back together before it can be open. So it's gonna be a full 6-week process.
Okay.
Even though we start on 70th Street first, doesn't mean 70th Street is done first.
Okay. My other question with that, with just the time frame, you mentioned 6 weeks and it's looking to start the first week of August. I know that in other areas on Odine where we're doing trail repair and on Page, those are both bus stop spots.
Yeah, I may have misspoke. I think we're trying to get it done by school opening. That's what we required. I'm thinking of Heritage Hills with
Okay.
September 15th. So they're to get done by Labor Day.
So the trails are to be done by Labor Day.
Yeah, so I'm just getting the two
Okay.
deadlines mixed up.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I'm glad I
Thank you.
asked that. I was a little worried that
Right.
we were
4
going to be
weeks.
causing some havoc for parents and bus drivers and children. Okay. Dan,
Mayor, as Councilmember Darkenwald said, the comprehensive plan amendment was considered by the planning commission at their last meeting. The developer had a schedule conflict, so they asked that it go to the August 9th meeting. Then they also requested a meeting with staff this week to discuss their application, so that'll be on Wednesday.
if they were to change options, would it have to go back to the planning commission, or what would the plan be with that?
Correct. I think it would need to go back to the planning commission. Based
Especially
on the-
since it was denied.
Correct. Based on the discussion of the planning commission, I don't think there are changes that they can make that would influence the planning commission to recommend approval, but
Mhm.
it's always their option to try and present a different proposal.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Tom.
and Dan, could you just clarify if somebody submits a change and the planning commission denies it and it goes before council and the council either accepts it or denies it, let's just say, just for anyone, they deny it, how long does it take for them before they can submit a new application?
Mayor, so there isn't anything in the statute that says you can't resubmit a comprehensive plan amendment. We do have in the zoning ordinance that if you submit application for a zoning ordinance amendment, you can't resubmit the same request for it's either 6 months or 12 months to prevent someone from constantly repeating the same request. But it's intended, that they're getting direction on their amendment, whether they proceed to do any further investment in plans or anything through this process.
Kevin, would you mind just seeing if Jason is able to come in, or if he's not, then we'll just close the meeting and we can get our update, but I'd hate to close and have him walk down the hallway.
Madam Mayor, can I just ask a question or add something? And Ron, for Heritage Hills, that project, and a letter was sent to those residents that they would be starting the first week in August, correct? Is that
Correct. We've
Okay.
sent out 2 letters, in fact, once right after the pre-construction meeting, letting them know that that was the time. And then another one that was, had a lot more what they need to do, stake their sprinkler heads, those sort of things, just last week, so that it was there a week before construction started. And Audra and Sabrina have also put on Facebook and Twitter, whatever, and the website that this project's moving forward.
That's wonderful. Thank
It-
you, Ron. They'll
and
be very
it's-
excited.
And it sounds like, the neighborhood's very active, that they've all been talking about driveways. I've talked to a few of the residents over there and they've said that
How
the
to share.
contractors have been really good. So
Yeah.
um,
At least 6 of 'em.
communication has not been an issue, it sounds like, with this project. So
Yeah,
very
I've heard at
positive.
least 6 of them have requested them to redo their driveway for them. So kind of one of those things where you fix the street, the neighborhood starts to look a little nicer too, because they don't want to have the driveway that doesn't look so good compared to the brand new street.
Well, and the equipment's already out there, so I'm
Right.
sure it's maybe a really good deal. You would hope. for those residents out there. So Jason, thank you. We didn't want to take you away from your meeting, but if you had an update, we wanted to hear it.
I don't know if this surprises you. We got a little sidetracked and we started talking about all sorts of things. And I just kind of,
Well,
as it relates to the speed here, we're coming up with a few different solutions. Fortunately, they are very supportive of the law enforcement side of it and have offered a lot of different driveways for us to
I was gonna
use.
ask if
One of
that
the
was an
things,
option.
one of the things we do find out on some of these, of all the traffic complaints that we run into in the city, is we get a lot of citizens that say, have at it, you can use my driveway as the speed trap, so to speak.
Mhm.
Which oddly enough does help quite a bit because putting a black and white squad car right in the middle of the road doesn't allow me to catch anything because they see the presence.
Mhm.
They'll maybe slow down thinking the squad car's there, but it doesn't really generate the actual speed to catch somebody in the act. So unfortunately,
Sounds like these people are
Are
quite
staking
organized.
up.
Quite
They're
organized,
that they
using
have
like
somebody
a
at the
person
end.
out front, that
You're
they're-
staking out, but they're also staking out to watch
it's
for where you
so it's
You need the undercover cars.
are. Bring them in.
you're preaching to the choir there. I guess.
Do you need help?
Back to 5-0.
Oh man. So we're gonna try to come up with. We've got a few different things that I'm writing down here. I think they agree. A speed limit sign or a speed limit change may help. However, is that going to deter all of it? They agreed no.
Right.
They think that the casual person that's just trying to maybe cut through to help with some of the traffic issues, maybe that's going to help deter them from speeding up too crazily. But
But
they
no.
also agree with 39 going to get opened here very shortly. They think that a lot of the traffic's actually going to go down, and so it may or may not do anything.
Mhm.
We've kind of come to the agreement that it's going to strictly rely on the law enforcement side of it, is trying to catch people in the act, and or if they happen to have enough information for me. I brought up, if there's a very specific car, a lot of the times that specific car is known to law enforcement in the area, and I can send an email out that says, hey, neighbor's caught, who's this? And we start working from there.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll do that personally. It sounds like they're pretty frustrated with it.
Mhm.
I want to roll with it and see what I can come up with.
And I would agree. It seemed when I was speaking with Adam on Friday about it, this is definitely a Wright County Sheriff issue. We need to get these people tickets and
Right.
kind of put the word out
Would
that
agree.
we can change signs, but the people that are doing this racing don't care if we change it
No.
to 30 or 45. They're
would
going to drive 110, it sounds like.
I would agree.
Yeah, if there's anything that you need from us, I'd agree someone's going to get hurt
Oh,
since they're talking about doing it at, morning, noon, night, like,
And like I
That's
said,
a-
honestly, almost every single time I go down that road, somebody's walking the dog or out for a jog
Mhm.
or something.
Right.
Almost every single time.
well, thank you. And
Yes.
now, do you have any updates for us?
Just insanely busy. The last week here has been kind of a test of everything for me here. So with just a little bit of everything. I don't know if I certainly have any trends, of course, with the last week since the last meeting that I was up here. Just been call load has been kind of outrageous county-wide. So it's not necessarily Otsego or the northeast part of the county oriented. So I do get updates from Elk River too. So I'm just trying to piece some things together and try to come up with some trends. Some of the information that I kind of told you guys in the emails about with some of the felony level crime that we've we're working with Hennepin County Analytics and trying to kind of collaboratively work together on some of the issues.
All right, well, thank you.
I'll go back to my side meeting.
Yeah. All right. Does anyone else have anything?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there any way to put temporary speed bumps on that road? I've seen some where they lay something down.
You should look at the guy back there with the black shirt and he's shaking his head going, mm-mm, mm-mm.
No hammering posts in the ground? Okay.
If you want to get up and speak, Kevin, to that, the city has never supported those for reasons of obviously the maintenance side of it, that it's putting them in, taking them out, putting holes in your road and snow plowing. But if Kevin, if you have something else that you'd like to add,
Yeah,
that's all
thanks.
those years of Public Works Subcommittee. Ron, do you have anything on that? No.
Good
There you go.
Try-
Your
try
two
to
guys
stop.
on roads don't support it.
I
Um,
I do think Wright County, now that this will be addressed, I don't foresee Wright County or Jason Altman's not doing anything. about
Right.
this or trying.
Mhm.
So I think this is good.
yeah, I mean, it's concerning, obviously, and I think, I mean, when first it was brought up, it was like speed. Okay, well, we've had that road as a complaint before, but to hear what's exactly happening with like an organized ring, it sounds like, of speeding, that's, they don't belong on our streets. They can go find somewhere
I can't
else.
believe they're going that fast.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, that is crazy. That's very dangerous.
Mhm. And there are hills, as though they
Yeah.
said. I mean, the
You
sidewalks
can't
are.
see.
Mm-mm. So hopefully we get an update from him and get that taken care of. So
Right.
does anyone else have anything? A motion to adjourn would be in order.
Second.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The meeting is ended. Thank you all for attending.